As I'm doing a quick video exposing gang stalking, but I'm way deeper than just exposing it. I brought out many of their handlers and I pissed many of them off. How do you know when you're dealing with them? Well, first of all, there's no open, compassionate heart relays because they're doing things for money for dark intent with the condemnation and judgment already placed upon you and a limiting belief system to keep you under their THUMB, their thumb. Alright, what I want to show you right here, so here's what I posted. Let me mute the Q news here. By the way, go to the Soapbox Live, Patriots Live, Patriots Soapbox Live, 24 hours, 7 days a week. Patriots gather and drop the realest intel of what's happening in this country. Anyway, right here I read, I'll read you what I wrote so you can kind of go from there. Now, if you're not familiar with gang stalking or illegal unconstitutional harassment, it happens to whistleblowers, it happens to patriots, it happens to ex-military, anyone that's trying to expose the corruption in this ill system. They then attempt to spirit cook you, put you under a microscope, and try to make it all about you. Thus, the system continues. Anyway, let me read this to you. What do gang stalkers do when they realize we will not feed them fear? And since they will not join the fight for this nation, what are they fighting for? See, I'm QP1. More reports, contacts, and town hall meetings are around the corner. Spirit cooking, no, not my spirit, not our spirit. Dark intent is easy to discern when interactions are without open, compassionate heart relays. We know the dark, dirty game they play. We're here with crystalline, light-filled intent for all. Therefore, what dark ones are throwing is now utterly and completely at their own darkness from their own darkness and ill intent. Dark intent is now an even more intense process for them. It boomerangs for those with ill will found a dark intent back on themselves tenfold, especially when we can remain neutral when attacked. Observing, learning, discerning, and continuing light work will intensify the implosions, and this will be their cues, and they will show them the way if they choose. Okay? This is to help unify all, and if it is refused, that's the only way you're left out. If you choose through dark intent to be left out, that's how you're left out, folks. That is the only way the unified field is denied to you. Okay? Alright. We are for a free country. The lives sacrificed will not be in vain. It is Memorial Day weekend, on Memorial Day. All those that went to war, all that, I'm a little off text here, but all those that went to war, their lives are not in vain, whether it was a false flag war or not, especially their lives will not be in vain. The white hats in the NSA and military are tracking all you gang stalkers and handlers, all your treasonous activity against Americans of the United States, against the Constitution, and against our sovereignty. It is being documented, and it is actively being watched, and the plan is about to spring up. Okay? What does that mean? You'll find out in the worst way if you are part of these treasonous activities and spying and surveillance against Americans. Okay? Alright. Alright, so we know what they're doing even in the private. Okay? Even when we have private times, they try to pull things out and they try to use their black magic. If you are being approached by one who has instilled much dark intent, just observe neutrally instead of energizing the dark, ill intent energy line, then you stay positive, unless you're called to raise the frequency. Thus, if approached after one has utilized dark techniques, we won't get angered. We will be neutral. And if we don't resonate with you, we're not flowing with you, because there is no flow. There is a manipulation of dark intent involved through the relationship overlay. So we have our right to have our life in our own hands, okay? You are not allowed to follow us. You're not God, okay? But I will tell you what, God now is in control of this surveillance shit, and you're going to witness the most wicked shit ended. And your participation in it was the upholding of it. And that is a system level. That's not an individual level, unless we're talking about the individuals that work for it through fear, greed, power, and control through money. Then this is over with. Because if something's not from the heart, it's not worth it. Especially not now. Not when we're moving to a new earth and we're getting ready to pretty much lynch all these treasonous ones against the United States. I'm not wanting people to die, no. But obviously they've killed and they've killed, they've threatened, they've messed with our lives, and there is going to be payback for that, in the sense that for those that are willing to do war covertly against us, they will be dealt with, most likely, the worst kind of justice. But again, it can get confusing. So you say, well, how is that right? Well, what we were going to have was a military overthrow if Hillary Clinton got in. Since Trump was able to beat her, even with the things rigged against him, we will now have them tried at military tribunals. What happens from there, I don't know. I'll probably be part of some of those military tribunals, overseeing them. Why? Because I'm very qualified. I know those that were compromised, and I know those doing the compromising more than less. Okay, more or less. I know the ones compromised, and I know the ones doing the compromising. So anyway, back to this. I was commenting on people gang stalking me today. I was called to write and bring it out to the light. And then I want to show you this guy online, okay? He can't stop posting 30 fucking videos with coded threats in a backward way to justify their fucking radical treasonous activity. You can see them by the fruit they bear in their words and where they come from. But let me just show you a couple things, because I think he's going to delete this stuff after he figures out what's really happening.
Spear kicking, I ain't gonna lie. Now, I know a lot about it because I was, back in the day when I was picking up on some of that bullshit.
Okay, all right. Let me get to the meat and here you go. Here's your meat and potatoes.
I siphon all that bad energy and I just transmute it into the glory of God.
Okay.
Come on in here and help it quicken the soul. I'm quickening here. You see what I'm saying? Well, you don't understand that. I'm helping to lift the veil. And
I don't understand that. I don't understand that. So let me bring something. So he's doing God's work, right? But I don't understand that. My post was about illegal harassment and unconstitutional activity on Americans. But I don't understand that he's trying to lift the veil. Okay, let's go further. Here's a threat toward a dear friend of mine, Rick Jewers.
Rick Jewers. Let's take like Rick Jewers. And let's say he gets tossed into the void. Well, then, as soon as that happens...
Let's just say he gets tossed into the void. Again, these are threats, okay? The deep state, we're used to being able to be boogie bully, man. They're not anymore.
Happens. You'll never know he ever won't talk about him anymore. All every memory that you ever heard about him, say we're still here doing this, all his text, everything disappears and the timeline changes. And
so he's saying that he'll get tossed in the void and everything about him will disappear. Wow. Man, you really sound like you're working in the Christ energy.
Let's just take like Rick Jewers. And let's say he gets tossed into the void. Well, then, as soon as that happens, you'll never know he ever won't talk about him anymore. All every memory that you ever heard about him, say we're still here doing this, all his text, everything disappears and the timeline changes, and that's how it's going to go. It is. It is. I swear to God, it's going to go there.
Okay. Now, he was one of those handlers coordinating certain women to bring up false witness against Rick Jewers to try to take him down, because Rick Jewers, what is Rick Jewers? Well, for people like me that's been a whistleblower and a patriot, we refuse CIA recruitment. We refuse the deep state recruitment. We refused. I've been asked to join. I've had several people talk to me about joining in a backward, straightforward way. Now, Rick Jewers has helped me for about a year now balance back out in my heart to go further in the light from what these suckers have done to us in our country. Okay? So what I'm saying is Rick Jewers has been a conduit of light, like a lighthouse, for those choosing to leave fear and go for liberty and justice and transparency. Well, they got a target on him, but they can't hit him. Okay? So he's one of the ringleaders of the old guard of the old energy. It's very easy to see. Let me play it one more time.
Let's just take like Rick Jewers, and let's say he gets tossed into the void. Well, then, as soon as that happens, you'll never know he ever won't talk about him anymore. All every memory that you ever heard about him, say we're still here doing this, all his text, everything disappears and the timeline changes, and that's how it's going to go. It is. It is. I swear to God, it's going to go there. That's where it's happening here.
That's what's happening here. Because Rick Jewers has like 20,000 members following one of his pages and even more on other pages. He's an existential threat to the old guard, deep state, connected network, bankster, treasonous cabal. He's a direct threat to darkness. Anything else? Anyway, here, just watch all the videos, watch all the comments after I post about gang stalkers, and I give it to them so well that their handlers have to come down and try to justify in a backward ass commutative way. Look at the dark energy on that. Look what I put. Dark energy intent deflected again. The Lion of Judah. The lion shall eat the grass. The courage of the lion. Of the holy lamb in unison. Woo! I feel that. You feel them words? You feel them words? Alright, let's see what else we have. And that's enough. I've already put 10 minutes on this, but I just wanted to show you guys, look, I'm not plucking this out of the air. You know, since 2008, I've actually knowingly been, tracked and harassed and surrounded by certain friends that weren't all the way friends. But in 2010 is where they turned on me, because I turned on them. I left them. They work in certain jobs. They work in certain industries. They work in certain corporations. Okay, it was lens crafters where this really took flight. And I realized I was not in a regular crew, and they were slowly bringing me on board, but I jumped that ship because I already saw that ship was sinking. As a matter of fact, I never boarded it. Their ship came next to mine, and I kept looking over like, no. Okay? All right. So, God bless everybody, including the dark ones working against us. Truly, we want them to abandon the old system and way of being, but we can't. You can bring a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. So this goes so much further than stalking your fellow Americans because you don't agree with them. We are following the ones that were stalking Americans because those were the patriots. The NSA now knows who the strong patriots are because of you guys following us. Now they're following you and networking your goons up the ladder. So all this is part of the plan. When you think you're really getting to patriots, especially me, all this data is being acquired. So we were the perfect bait to fish the deep state out, and those that would murder our President Kennedy, those that would attempt to assassinate our duly elected President Donald John Trump, those that would kill Bobby Kennedy, those that would kill our John Lennons. The list goes on, unfortunately. But their lives were not in vain. So here's my extension, my good intent to say, let's all join the unified field, show each other love, heart, compassionate relays, and continue to unify and fight this wicked system and the principalities of evil. Now, if you're just focused on an individual again, and they have not invited you in their life, you are infringing on their freedoms and their sovereignty. You, my friend, are committing treason. That is the highest crime in this nation that still stands for God, under God. So claiming to be doing Christ work, but yet you're not in the Christ heart, doesn't work. It's a mind game. You're playing religious doctrine. Okay? You are your own Christ. How do you heal people? How do you lead by example? The best I can do against these dark ones now is pretty much remain neutral, because they're refusing the water I'm offering. Therefore, I'm going somewhere who will use that water and actually throw some back in my cup, and it will overflow. God bless you. Happy Memorial's Day. Where we go one, we go all. That sounded pretty epic. Help a brother out.